welcome to all our viewers. And here we are with another episode of Authorize by Amazing Workplaces. For those watching us for the first time, Authorize, the show is all about authors and books. In today's session of Authorize, we are going to speak to Barbara Mitchell. Barbara is a nationally known expert in recruitment, retention, generations at work, organizational development, startup businesses, training and development, business writing, and leadership development. Barbara Mitchell believes that a critical task for any organization is to find, hire, engage, develop, and retain the best talent available. That's why she began consulting and founded the Mitchell Group, a human resources and organizational development practice. She consults with clients about people and talent management issues and coaches people who want to make a career change. In addition to her consulting work, Barbara has co-authored a prestigious lineup of books, including the Big Book of HR, They Did What, the Manager's Answer Book, the Conflict Resolution Phrase Book, the Essential Guide to Conflict Management, and the Essential HR Handbook. In one of our previous episodes, we quizzed Barbara's partner in writing, Cornelia Gamlin, about their book, They Did What. In today's episode, we shall speak to Barbara as she and Cornelia celebrate the recently launched 10th anniversary edition of the best-selling book, The Big Book of HR. Welcome, Barbara, to Authorize, the show about authors by Amazing Workplaces.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here with you today to talk about amazing workplaces.
Thank you, Barbara, and congratulations on the launch of the 10th anniversary edition of your book. I mean, what a great pleasure to have you join us today on this episode.
It's my pleasure to be with you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. Okay, so Barbara, you have just released the 10th anniversary edition of the Big Book of HR. What are some of the things about this book that make it so successful? And also a great choice for anyone looking to get in-depth information on the various aspects of human resources.
We try to make this book comprehensive so that anyone, whether they are an HR person or a manager or a business owner, can pick it up and find the answer to a people issue that they're having. So we cover everything from beginning to end. We talk about it being the book that covers hiring, firing, and everything in between.
Right. Okay, so I wanted to understand, how does this book appeal to a global audience? In fact, I wanted to know, does this book have a global appeal or does it relate to only a specific geography, and why?
It is specific to the United States in that we cover US laws, but we do believe that the vast majority of the book does appeal to a global audience because we cover just issues that are dealing with people, best ways to hire people, not just the specifics of where to find them, but the importance of having the right people in the right job, things that are universal. But we do cover US laws in it. And so that can be just glossed over. Don't even look at that part if that doesn't apply to you.
Okay, so what you mean to say is that even people sitting in India can benefit from this book, right?
We think so. We think people in India want to do exactly what we want to do here, and that's have the best possible workplace, an amazing workplace.
Yeah. Okay, so interesting. I was going through this book and I saw that you have covered, all the subjects which are all the topics which are related to human resources. And I think that's really very useful in the context for any person who's trying to understand human resources from A to Z, right?
From A to Z. Yes, everything you need to know to get started, to handle an issue, to resolve a problem, a conflict, and then perish the thought if you have to discipline or terminate an employee. We cover everything relating to those subjects.
Right. So I want to add a question here, Barbara. Just you have a lineup of books on human resources. So each of them are centered around the topic of human resources, and yet they are all different. So how is this book different from your other books? Yeah.
This book is different because of how comprehensive it is. It goes into depth in most topics, and it covers pretty much everything you need to know about human resources. One of the reasons that we put this book together was to help the small business or the business that just doesn't have any HR support. And so when a manager has an issue, they can pick up our book, go to a certain chapter, and find a roadmap of how they might solve that problem. We think that sets our book apart.
Okay. Interesting. So, Barbara, tell me, as a seasoned HR professional and a celebrated author, how do you perceive the role of HR has changed during the pandemic? I mean, we just discussed about your book, and it's all related to one of the most important topics that everybody is discussing, which is human resources. And as we see, the because of the pandemic, human resources has become one of the most important departments in any organization. While if we say earlier on, a lot of organizations used to treat human resources as a secondary department, but now it's totally different. The whole feeling of thinking about the whole thought process of thinking about human resources has changed. So can we have your views about how all this has changed? Yeah.
This is a very exciting time for human resources. Believe me, I am not saying that I'm excited about being in a worldwide pandemic, but this is a time for HR to absolutely rise to the top, to shine, to be part of the setting the direction for the company, to solving issues that are totally people-centric at a time when everyone is on edge and trying to figure out how to make this work for their organization. So HR people have a golden opportunity to step up and to show what they know, show what they can do, show how creative they are, and show what a team player they are within their organization. I think this is a tremendous opportunity for HR. We are faced now with issues that we've never faced before. How do we get a remote workforce to be a team? How do we get performance management when we aren't seeing people? There's so many issues that are being dealt with day by day, and HR is playing a huge role in each of those.
Okay, Barbara. So, going forward, since so much has changed in the space of people management, what do you feel are some of the top trends that you foresee in 2022 and beyond?
One of the big trends is how do we develop our people within the hybrid model that many organizations are working with? How do we invest in our employees, because that's what they're looking for? We're dealing with right now in the US, we're dealing with something they're calling the Great Resignation. And what we know is that employees really want development. They want to learn, they want to grow, they want to be able to do something, to add something to their skill set. So how do we do that and do it well in a hybrid model, or even if we are uh, uh, in the office or totally remote? So I think that's one of the biggest issues that HR is facing. And then, of course, it is the retention. I mentioned the great resignation term that's being used. How do you keep good people? Well, you keep good people by investing in them. It's just that simple in my mind. So that, of course, would be your development, how you treat them, how you communicate with them, how everything that you do with them to let them know that they are valued. The word value is taken on a new meaning to me in the area of human resources. Employees have to feel valued. They have to feel as if their organization really wants them to succeed and values the work that they do. And the organization needs to really put some energy into that. So I think those are the biggest issues. Of course, there's always issues around benefits and other challenges that we have in how we treat our employees. But if we communicate with them, if we just, something as simple as CEOs calling people and saying, how are you? And really caring how the person is, not how they are as an employee, but how are you as a human being? And if our managers start treating people not as employees, but as humans, we will have a better outcome through these challenging times.
True, very true. So, if you have to just, name 2 or 3 main points, then what are the trends that you will just pick and choose? Yeah.
Okay. Well, number one is having the right people in the first place.
Yeah.
I am so passionate about that. And organizations really, nothing else matters if you don't have the right people, no matter what your product is, no matter what your service is. If you don't have the right people doing the work, it's really not going to matter. Your organization probably won't be successful. So let's start from there. Let's start with getting the right people.
Yeah.
And then getting the right people and bringing them on board. The onboarding process is huge, making people immediately feeling as if they're valued within their organization.
Yeah.
And that can take a great deal of effort and work. And again, HR is having to adjust to doing that remotely or doing it in a hybrid manner. And so there's a challenge there. And then it's how you engage your employees. How, again, we're using my favorite word of the year, value. How do they feel valued by you? Do they feel as if work that they do really matters? And if you do that, then you're going to be able to invest some time and energy into improving their skills, paying them well. Of course, you have to pay people smartly and competitively. And I think we're seeing some real issues in the US about how underpaid so many people were in the workplace, and that's being adjusted, and that's very positive. And then, of course, it's how they are, how their skills are developed, how they are treated. Are they treated with respect? And I think that if I can put 2 words together here, value and respect, you do those 2 things, you're probably going to have a pretty good outcome in your workplace.
Right. Okay. So thanks for sharing that information, Barbara. Now, coming to back to your book, actually, I can see the title of the big book of HR in your background. But I would like you to show the book, for our audience. Yeah. Oh, wow. So here's my copy also. And I'm actually going through it and I'm really finding it, very informative. Yeah. So back to my audience. You just saw this HR department's manual called The Big Book of HR by Barbara Mitchell and Cornelia Gamlin. And believe me, I'm reading this book and it's super informative. So if you want to increase your knowledge about HR, simply go to our website, check the synopsis, and buy this book today. The link to the book is given in the video description below. And I can assure you, it would be one of your best investments in your learning about human resources. Yeah. So thank you, Barbara. I think I thoroughly enjoyed this small conversation with you about your book and the future HR trends and what's the most important uh, what are the most important things that are going to be in the field of human resources. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining in this conversation on Authorize and Amazing Workplaces. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I've had a great time talking to you about a subject I am very passionate about, and that is amazing workplaces. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you so much.